Bonjour, welcome to my channel. My name is Alexonia. So this is my third video, and in my first and second video I was talking about how my divine team introduced themselves to me in very interesting ways. So if you haven't seen those two videos, I would check them out if I were you, so to put this one in content. But so in my last video I was talking about the experience where the angels came and cured my heart from what could have potentially be like the worst heartbreak of my life after seeing this guy, and I'm gonna call him R because I never mentioned him. I just referred to him as the guy in my past video, but yeah, I'm gonna call him R. So in this video, I wanted to leave the place where I was working because R would come there, and I didn't want to see this guy. So I applied somewhere else and then got hired, and then this is where I meet Jay, which Jay is my soulmate, which we were together for 29 years. And when I met him, I knew right away. I knew instantly that we had this connection. You can't put your finger on it. You feel so comfortable with these people. You feel like you've known them for years, and it's magic, you know. So when I met him, I felt that, but then he was seeing somebody for a few years. So I was thinking, okay, well, you know, like, my spidey senses are off on that one, I guess. And then 3 weeks later, somebody comes over to me and says, oh, did you hear that Jay is no longer with his partner? And I was like, oh, no, I didn't hear that. I'm like, oh, maybe this is my chance, you know? So it was, because 2 weeks later, he asked me out, and we started seeing each other and dating. He came over to my house, met my dogs and my friends, and we've been out, but we had never slept together at this point. So he invited me to his house like 3 weeks later. I mean, I took my time because I didn't want the same thing to happen, right? So I had bought him flowers, and then I get to the door, and then he opens his door. He's like, oh my God, I've never received flowers from a girl before. I'm like, I have never given a man flowers before, so there's a first for everything. He opens the door, and it was literally right out of a movie. He had like 100 candles everywhere, through the whole house. It was magical. And then he had like Kenny G on this CD player. I arrive in the dining room. He's got like a feast for 20 people, and I'm looking at him and I'm like, are you expecting anybody? And he's like, no. I was like, you don't expect us to eat all this food, I hope. And then he was like, yeah, no. So he had a 1982 Barolo. I'm telling you, this wine was like hella old. It's like 14 years old at the time. And he had put it in a porcelain container, in which completely stained from this moonshine, because that's what that was, you know. So we had this incredible night, and like, you know, and just ate and drank and had fun. And the next morning I wake up, and in front of me, I have a computer screen floating in midair, just the screen with this guy's face on it. But in the future, he had like a grayish goatee, salt and pepper hair, and I was like, why are you showing me this? Why this morning? You know, out of all the time, like, why are you showing me this? So I'm like, I have to talk to this guy. I need to tell him, because now the stuff is getting like stranger and stranger, right? Like, I need to know what he thinks about all this, and I have to know. And I can't be with somebody who, you know, is going to think that that I'm lying and making all this stuff up, and why would I do that, but anyways. So I really need to talk to him. So he wakes up and he's thinking it's going to be like Bao Shaka Wow Wow part two, but sadly no. I said I have to talk to you, and he's like, oh, what? And I was like, well, I go, these very strange things happen to me and have been for my whole life since the age of 6. I have like these things that happen to me, and I need to, and then I told him what had just happened with the computer screen and everything. So I said, I need to know what you think about all this. And then he just paused and he just looked at me and he's like, see, they came to tell you that it's perfectly all right. We should be together and we will be together for the rest of our lives. And that they just wanted you to trust me. And I was like, what? I was taken back because I wasn't expecting that, but at the same time, I don't know, I wasn't really expecting anything because I had just woken up and I never even really thought about the fact that I should talk to him about all of this, because in my day-to-day life, it's not something that I go around telling people that I see these things, right? Because, I want to fit in. So this is going back like to my childhood, like where I knew better than to try and tell people, because if my own mother and brother don't believe me, I'm thinking, I'm basically screwed. Nobody's going to believe me. So I just kept it to myself. But I'm telling you that I was super relieved that he was on board and that he believed me, and that because things started to get like even weirder from there on. So we were together for 20 years, but 9 years ago we separated, but stayed best friends. And it wasn't for any reason that it just like the passion kind of left the relationship, and we basically became like brother and sister. So, but the friendship is just, he would do anything for me and has done everything for me. But we're both ready to move on, but our bond is so strong that we just like, we just stay together. We haven't found anybody, to be honest with you. I haven't found anybody that I would have even considered being with so far. So once I guess I move on, he'll move on. But in the meantime, it is what it is, and it is. So I kept asking, please show me like why our bond is so strong, and like, because I knew that it had to do with like a past life for sure, right? Like, I mean, it had to be. There's no other explanation for this. So I have prophetic dreams, I have past life dreams, warning dreams, and I've seen several of my past lives. So in this past life dream that I had, he was my husband. And I was experiencing everything that I am in this lifetime, all the strange stuff and everything, the visions and all that. And one day we're out on a walk, and a leaf fell from the tree, and as the leaf is falling, it turns into a fairy. And I'm talking to the fairy like it's, like it's another Tuesday. And he just like lost it. He just like went, this is it. This is the final straw. I can't take any more of this stuff. And he's like, I'm putting an end to it. So he had already organized with my family to have me locked up. And so they locked me up in an insane asylum, and I was heavily medicated for years until my death. And I was completely abandoned. Nobody came to see me. And it was just like the most tragic, horrible life you can imagine, like. So he passed away prior to me, still in the insane asylum. And once he passed on, he saw that everything that I had told him was true, and that this was the life that I had chose to experience, to see across the veil. And so he, whatever. I don't know what he was feeling at that point, because he's on the other side. But once I passed away and joined him, he vowed that he would be with me in any lifetime that I chose to experience what I'm experiencing in this lifetime, and that he would be my protector, and that he would be by my side and would not let anything happen to me. So he had to be in this lifetime with me, because the stuff that's going to happen to me, because what I've told you so far is nothing compared to what's going to be happening. So yeah, I tried to exit a few times, and well, I'm sitting here filming this video because of him. So I'm very thankful for him, and I got through everything, and it's thanks to him. So we share this bond, and it's so strong, and whoever we do manage to meet and be with, they're gonna have to be understanding that, you know, this is a lifetime bond and strictly friendship, you know, like, because I understand how some people could get jealous, but this is what it is. So on a lighter note, R, who was in my life, one day we were at my house, and I see him coming up the path, and I freaked out. So I said to Jay, R is about to hit the doorbell. Please, I don't want to see him. I'm not here. Please, 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 you know. So he went over to the door, opened the door, and said, hey, buddy, you know, you had your chance, and you ruined it. Large. You ruined it large, I might add. And then he's like, you got your chance, you blew it, bye. And then he closed the door. I am telling you, it's one of these moments where you're like, yes, you know. I was so happy that he was there to defend me, and you know, put the other one in this place, I guess, right? Like, what was he expecting from me? I have no idea, and I don't care. But that was that. So that was like a very happy moment for me. So at this point, you know, Jay and I were, you know, we were together, and like I said, we separated, and not for any thing that went wrong in the relationship, because I can count on one hand the disagreements that we had, and it was all very under control, because, you know, as a, you know, I was young, and like I think all my signs are fire, so I'm like a fireball, and he's an Aquarius, and he puts out my fire, basically, because when I would get all riled up or whatever, he would be like, oh, does somebody need a hug? Who does that, right? Like, I mean, when you're pissed off, who does that? But that was our relationship, so it was amazing, and I have nothing bad to say about him, because he's still my best friend today. So that was the answer to my question with my dream, and with what happened to us in a past life. And I mean, we all come here, we're all on this karmic journey for you know, for some reason we all come here. And I say karmic in the fact, like, where it's like cause and effect. Everything that we do wrong, we want to make amends, and we want to fix things, and we want to ascend higher. And the tougher your life is, the higher you go, and that's what it is, right? So this is where I am right now with these videos, and their message of me wanting to share my experiences, which I am doing like a good girl. And I hope that this is going to be helping people, because this is, you know, this is what life is all about right now. It's, you know, like being understanding and loving and compassionate. And there's so many horrible things that are happening on this planet that you want to change the world, but you can't change the world. You can only change, it starts with you, right? Like, you can only change yourself, and then from somebody wanting to emanate you, and then it just goes from there. And it's just like, you know, you have to walk the walk if you want things to change. So this is what I'm trying to do, and I'm going to leave this video here, and then I hope you watch my next videos to hear all my experiences. And in the meantime, I love you, and because we are one. And once you wake up from this dream, you see the game or the school that this place is, and then you have a better idea on your choices and everything else that you've chosen this lifetime. So I hope to see you in my next video, and I'll see you then. Bye.